call the meeting order at 10:09. President Bill McGowan, Lisa McGonigal, Wayne Sawchuk, Rod Hoffman, John Beck, Dan Coughlin.
And Bill, just to let you know, we have a couple of attendees. We have Corey Evans and Catherine Dugan.
Okay.
And Brian Joyce.
All right. As far as the next meeting, what does the 17th of November look like for everyone?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm good as well.
Good.
All right. So regional sewer. I'm not exactly sure what we have to talk about that other than it being a topic of the white paper that Mr. Beck created. And so compliments to Mr. Beck for that. I think it's just appropriate. I had a phone call with Chris Senior right before the meeting and talked to him about a couple of subjects, that being what's going on with the Chief Justice Cushing project and the sewer connection and the grant and what have you. He has not had any contact with them. However, he did tell me that there have been some discussions with Brian and Jason with regards to designs that the applicant is looking at, and assured me, actually gave me his word that we would not be excluded from any deliberations at all, and actually went forward to basically say that if I had any concerns or if the board had any concerns, we're to bring it up to him and not just sit on it and let it ruminate with us. But he said there's really nothing to report. He does not know if the grant is going to be awarded. He thinks that they may hear about something in 4 to 5 weeks. But if it's not awarded, then the applicant has to go back to the starting board, I guess, the starting point, and see what the hell he wants to do, because they're not sure what they're going to do about that. So I don't know what we have to discuss about regional sewer. I did tell him that the white paper along with the attachments were sent out to a group of folks. I did ask him, I said, so what do we do if a resident of the town wants to see it? The way we have, or the way the IT system is set up right now, you basically have to make an application to the Supreme Court to get an address put on it, which to me is ridiculous. So he said he would check into that and see what we can do. But I suspect we're going to get people who want to look at it. And if every time we have to go and have them get a cohasset.ma or cohassetma.org account, that's cumbersome to say the least. So we'll see if we can fix that one way or the other. So I don't know if members of the board or anybody has anything to say about regional sewer. When Chris reads it, he's going to certainly see that we have asked that he make a call to Situate to set up a meeting, and you'll also see that we've asked for him to get in contact with Hull to see if any kinds of negotiation are possible. So that's my 2 cents on regional sewer. I don't know whether Wayne or John, you have anything else to add to that.
No, other than there are other places you can put large documents than in the Cohasset town's cumbersome and essentially unavailable. Things are getting crowded at the Supreme Court, so
yeah, I think they're going to be busy in the next few days.
I do too. But there are other places that the public can access, and I think for total transparency, and that was the purpose of the document in the first place, that it should be available to anybody who wants to look at it. And I think we ought to explore what those other publicly available sites might be and put it there rather than in a lockbox unavailable to anybody who doesn't have a Cohasset org.
Yep. No, there are, part of the Microsoft Outlook, you can have just a part of the OneDrive is you can put anything on it and anybody can have access to it.
Yeah.
We could put it on the sewer website and say, here's where you go to get it. Simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, just so it's available,
Yeah.
that's easily available.
Yep. So we'll check that out. Maybe Lisa, you could talk to IT and see what kinds of things they can do to make it more publicly accessible.
Sure.
All right. Wayne, you got anything, comments, or?
No, I'm glad that you mentioned Situate, because I think that they think that, we don't want to do anything at all or even talk about it. And I think we really still want to look at some possible solutions, like an outfall or anything else like that might be worthwhile. So, and if Hull is not interested in talking to us, maybe Situate is.
Yep. But again, I think, there are ways that we can, I know there are ways that we can put these documents on a server somewhere, whether it's our own or somebody else's, that we can share with the public. I don't know why we have to go through such a cumbersome process right now. But if you could check that out, Lisa, and see either if we could just attach it to the town of Cohasset sewer website, we could just,
Okay.
So that anybody who wants to see it can see it.
So there are a couple of questions. Corey Evans is asking, has the white paper been officially adopted and vote approved by your board yet?
I would say no. I would say that this is a dynamic and growing document. This is the sort of start of how we want to approach it. We certainly, I think, to my recollection, we voted on doing it and putting the paper together, but the actual content, I don't believe, was voted on, nor do I think it's needed to be voted on, because it is something that will probably cause some questions and comment. So that we're going to be changing this. It's going to change, and which is a good thing.
I think we might consider approving the draft as a draft, and then it's
yeah. If you want to, I mean, I'll make a motion to approve the draft. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Okay.
But
So
that's going to change. I mean, I'm presuming that's going to change as we get information. North and south of the border, and as we get comments from other folks.
And then Katie Dugan is saying, putting documents on sewer commission page on the website is what all committees do with documents.
I agree with that. If you go to the Board of Appeals or something like that, they'll have, pages and pages and pages under a heading.
Okay.
That's certainly an easy solution.
Mm-hmm. So I guess right now we're going to, hopefully Chris will get back to us. And in fact, what I will take on is I'll remind him about that. And I did send him the link to the white pages, or the white paper, excuse me. And but I'll make sure that he gets gives a call to Situate and to Hull to find out what's going on in the near future. Anything else, guys, on this? No.
Nope.
Should we go on to grinder pump?
Yes.
Are we ready to send this out to everyone? All right. Well, let me put it this way: has the Board of Selectmen, excuse me, the Select Board, have they voted on whether this is appropriate or ready to go?
No, they haven't. We're waiting to confirm final dates, you have a draft of the memo to the board, and I've talked to Chris. He said it would go before the selectmen first or second, early December.
Okay.
But we have a memo to them, and they're blanks.
The dates, you mean?
Yeah. We don't have to be there, or do they want us to be there? Is there a request, or at least be on the Zoom or something?
I don't know. I didn't
Okay.
ask.
All right.
Chris, I'll confirm that.
Okay. So if we, okay, and then that'll give us enough time to get out, do our mailing and all that, I suspect. So if they do it the first or second week of December, we'd probably send it out right after the first of the year. Is that reasonable? Yes, right?
Or during the month of December is fine.
Yeah, if we can get it. I mean, we're going to be mailing this, is my understanding, correct?
Probably send it registered mail.
So this is
That's
going to take, it's going to take a
that's
while
about-
to put this together. That's what I'm saying. So we're going to have to, load envelopes and all that. And I don't know whether we have an envelope department in town hall, but somebody's going to have to do this.
And it's about $7 per mailing for registered mail.
Okay.
Were you going to professionally print the handout too for the residents? Or?
Yeah, I think we should.
So it might be more depending
yeah.
on the weight.
You got to make sure that still fits in a regular envelope too.
Yeah. So Lisa, the question that could go to, maybe to Chris or somebody, does the town have a contracted service that does mailings? That if we just gave them a list, they could do the printing, stuff the envelopes and submit them, mail them by registered mail?
Okay, I'll ask.
I mean, those services are out there. I know UPS does it and a couple of others. So we might be able to do it that way. Okay, so I guess that's that. If we go on to the urgent capital requests, I am looking for the email that Scott sent to me. And of course, I'm not going to be able to find it. There are two, I think they're blowers that are in they were right where the skater room was, or right next to it. There's actually, I think, 3 or 4 of them now that I remember, that are failing. And he said we need to get those replaced as soon as possible. I can find the email. Actually, if you pardon me for a second, I can just see if I can get it here. Let's see.
Is this what you're looking for, Bill? I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, they're called 3 inline silencers for the blowers. He says they're basically dead. So,
So that's only the silencers, not the blowers themselves.
yeah,
So it shouldn't be too bad, but it may be a couple thousand piece.
so I guess our question with that is, or the board's approval on this is that that we make a motion to direct Woodward and Curran to go get a price on these and to replace them as soon as they can.
What happens if they're not replaced?
I think they just get noisy.
Yeah, and that might be some of the issue that we're encountering. Is the silencers have gone.
It could be directly related to the noise issue.
Yeah,
It is very noisy. When I went in there during the plant tour, it was loud.
It's always been loud, but there's loud and louder, I guess, at this.
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not opposed to replacing something that ain't working. But we need to have a cost.
Yeah, why don't we do this, rather than just make a blanket approval, why don't we, Lisa, if you could ask Rob to price these units out as soon as he can and get a delivery date and all that, and then once you have that, we'll, at our next meeting, we can just vote on it at that point.
Okay.
I will tell you too, that I believe the SCADA system is installed and working, which was part of our capital of the last year's capital piece. So that's a good thing. So, oh, so has he given us other capital requests as well, Lisa, in that document you just showed? Because this is,
Not sure.
that's the one that we had from previous.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it from him.
It's also one of the appendices in the white paper.
Yes.
All right, let's see. So this is what I have listed as the appendix for that capital planning.
So I don't, SCADA is done, both of those. You know what, Lisa, why don't we do this rather than doing it this way? Why don't we see if Scott can come to the next meeting?
Okay, I just found it on email here. Okay. Okay, give me one moment. I'm going to stop share so I can just grab it out of email. It was an email dated 10/21.
I have a question about that total document you just had on the screen a second ago. It doesn't look to me like that's up to date.
Yeah, I don't think.
That's the last one we had, John. So,
Yeah.
The last one we had.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it has not been updated yet with things like SCADA, progress, etc.
No, Rob did tell me he was going to update it. He just hasn't got it back to us yet.
Okay.
And I will remind him of that as well.
Yeah. And Lisa, you need to be aware that anytime one of those appendices does get updated, that wherever it ends up landing, that it be updated there as well.
Yes. Here we go. Nope. So this one looks like it was updated on October 19th.
And yeah. Is that on the document itself, the date?
Um, yes. Can you all see that?
Yep. So I don't think those blowers are in here.
No.
So we just have to get that done. I know for a fact that he said that he's been trying everywhere to get the doors fixed, and he just can't find anybody to do it. All right. So I'll get in touch with Rob and have him update this with anything they think should be done immediately, if not sooner, and have him add the blowers, and then we'll go from there. All right.
Yep.
Okay, our last, well, in other business, I believe one of the pieces we have that Lisa shared with us this morning is an abatement from a Mr. Mullen on Margin Street.
Yes.
So I guess his sort of water consumption, the way I'm looking at it, went from, in the months of November that he had highlighted here, somewhere in the 2,500 gallons to 10,000 in 2020.
Yep.
But we don't know where that went. I mean, he's saying it's irrigation, but he doesn't have a second meter on it. So a first meter, a second meter, excuse me. That's a gargantuan increase.
So all of a sudden he started irrigating a whole bunch.
Yeah. I mean, he must have been trying to put the fire in the harbor out. I mean, with the amount of water he's using.
I mean, it's been a while, but I don't think you've been able to, or you haven't, the board hasn't historically granted an abatement unless they do have that second meter.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the only times we've granted it is if there's sufficient proof that might have been a water leak or a crack or something like that. But there's nothing here. I mean, for him to say that it was a result of excessive drought.
Right.
So he wants $741. I mean, I think that's a lot.
Well, the only way you could act on it would be that there'd have to be a requirement to put in a second meter, because we wouldn't be giving an abatement in the future for this type of an event.
Yeah, I mean, I might be inclined, depending on how you guys feel, to give him maybe, $300 or $350, but he also has to put a second meter in and tell him this is the last time we would even consider it. But I'm on the fence. I'm of the opinion that, he had to know that he had to know something was going to happen. If he's this in tune with his water and sewer bills, he had to know that if he's watering the back 40, that he's going to get charged for sewer as well.
Historically, for the last year, the most he's used is it was 18,700 gallons was the most, versus the 77,000 that apparently he used this time. So I don't see where in the past in other words, this seems to be it seems to almost be more than just watering along, like maybe a broken pipe or something, because it's just it is just huge.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think we need more information as to why he thinks it went up as much as it did, other than just, well, maybe he put in a swimming pool and he's been filling a swimming pool, or who knows?
Yeah.
We need more information.
All right, that's reasonable. So Lisa, can you get back to him, just tell him, you know, give us more data?
Sure.
I mean, he did give 3 or 4 sheets here, so, but
Yeah, but it doesn't really tell us. I mean, he's giving us some sort of the data that's coming back off of the bills. It's not really telling us. To blame it on the drought is kind of weak, in my opinion.
well, I don't want to say it, but my bill was almost the same. And
Yeah, but you don't have sewer though, right?
right, just the water part, yeah. But it was to do irrigation for my vegetable gardens and stuff. But
Yeah, it's only going to go up, huh?
they're expensive tomatoes.
Yep. Okay. Do we have anything else to discuss? Anyone have anything on their minds?
Yes, so 150 Beech Street connection, I think I sent everybody that information previously. They're building a small house in the front of their property that is for, I guess the resident is in a wheelchair, and him and his wife will be moving into the small house, and the I think the family will be moving into the bigger house just to take care of them. And McNamara is the last name. And so Brian did review the sewer connection, and I sent the comments via email to you guys regarding this, because it's an unusual circumstance, he said.
So Dan, did you get a chance to look at that?
Not extensively. A while back, I was in touch with the engineer, but I haven't seen the submission.
I mean, I didn't see anything that was undoable. It's just a repetition of what our requirements are, as best I could tell. And, you know, I presume they'll meet those requirements. And so what's the issue?
It's a financial issue, I think, in that I think a couple of us agreed that they should be paying for 1 EDU because of the size of the existing house for the guest house. And I think that's
Which they did. They dropped a quarter EDU, and they dropped that off.
oh, they did. So
Yeah, what's the issue?
so now there's
So
no,
Brian's comment was that he said he thinks the application should go to the board for their review as it's a little unique. The property area size does not meet the zoning requirement to subdivide, but there is enough room on the frontage if there was an exception given or zoning relief, which is unlikely. So I think that Brian's looking at it as if later on they decide they want to subdivide the land.
Well, that's not us. That's
No,
zoning, right?
but if nothing changed to the dwellings, it
Right.
wouldn't matter at all. If
Yeah.
they had to come before for an addition to someone buying that particular lot and adding, you know, a bigger house on it, then that's a different story. But I think there's a precedent just down the street from there at the causeway. A family was putting a guest house across the driveway. And I think we did the same thing with them. We charged them 1 EDU and that was just.
well, the size of this house is just 1 bedroom.
Yeah,
So,
No, I mean, 1/4 of an EDU is what I'm.
quarter EDU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
And she did drop that off. I have that. I was just waiting for approval before we brought
Okay.
it.
So it's now just is I believe that we are approving the building permit that basically it's already built, but for them to
Right.
connect on. And so I'd make a motion to allow the project to continue and connect to the sewer, et cetera.
Second,
Yes, I agree with just the caveat that, you know, they have to meet, you know, whatever the local zoning and planning and all that sort of stuff, which, you know, is apparent, but sometimes it's not. So, yeah, I agree as well. All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
aye, yeah. I voted twice.
So we can give them a half an EDU, not a quarter, is that right?
Good.
Then the other thing on other business was Black Horse Lane easement, that Wayne had sent everybody an email this morning.
This happens to be the fact that the town was granted a 20-foot easement for Black Horse Lane extension, and the sewer is in it, the water's in it, and there's a gas service that is in it, and the gas company wants to have permission to be within the easement where they already are, because of the title search that came up that said, oh, you don't have it, and they're extending the gas up to 2 houses. So this is just a consent to easement that I sent that just says, and by joining in the execution hereof, the town of Cohasset, party to a certain permanent sewer easement dated July 28, 2003, and recorded with the Registry of Deeds in book 19558, page 321, hereby consents to the grant of the easement here above granted to Boston Gas Company, wherein said easement is located within a certain portion of that parcel of land subject to the terms and conditions of said permanent sewer easement. And that's what they'd like to have signed for the gas company to clean up this issue that the gas is in an easement that the town has. And I don't know any other thing. Maybe Rod, if he still is on, has seized this in the past as something that to be done.
Are they actually installing the new line, Wayne?
No, they're extending the gas, but the gas is shown on the plan as already being in the 20-foot easement, along with the water main and the sewer line. So,
Yeah, I mean, the only concern we've ever had is basically if they place it on top of the sewer.
right, and I don't think that's the case because they're both already there.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But
So
Wayne, I was here, but not paying full attention.
Okay. There exists on Black Horse Lane, which is really almost all private, a 20-foot easement. And I don't know who else, I don't know if the town ever had an easement, but it's there. And the sewer department in 2003, when we were doing the work down there, requested a 20-foot easement for the sewer, which was going down the road, which the 20-foot is the whole road. And the gas company has a gas main in there, and the gas company would like to have the right to keep it there. And the water main's also in that, and it's like the whole street. So I don't see where it's a problem for them to be able to continue, because guess what they're doing is there are 2 houses that are down the end of the street that the gas company is extending the gas to. And in this portion, when they were doing the easements for that, they found out that they didn't have a specific easement in this portion of Black Horse Lane.
Oh, okay.
Because it's all there and we haven't had any problems, I think they should be able to keep it there, because I don't think the 20-foot easement should be exclusive to just the sewer department. Meaning we don't need that much area. So what do you think?
Let me look at the document, but I think you're right. I mean, if we need to grant a co-use,
Yeah, they
we
had
could do that.
yeah, they just said that I read when you weren't listening. It's okay. Hereby consents to the grant of easement herein above granted to the Boston Gas Company, wherein said easement is located within a certain portion of that parcel of land subject to the terms and conditions of the said permanent sewer easement.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of,
All right.
I don't think they could put the gas main, I don't think they could take it out and put it anywhere where it wouldn't be in the easement, because the easement is the whole
road. Yeah.
whole road.
Yeah.
So, and it's there. So I'd like to make a motion that the sewer commission approve the consent to easement as written. And there's a plan that went along with it. It just shows shows the easement.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay. Lisa, anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, good.
I had one other thing that I have questions about that I, excuse me, spoke to Lisa about it earlier. And that is we received from someone a list of there's a property, and we all know who the original owner was, on Jerusalem Road that had 7 EDUs and tore the building down and built 3 units there and had 4 EDUs left over that he has been sort of doling out to a couple of different properties, one on Howe Road and one on Windy Hill Road. And I think there's a second one going at Windy Hill. And when the list came through, it said that there were no betterments for the building there, ABC, which happens to be the condos now, because the betterments would have been there when it was the apartment building. So I was just wondering and concerned whether or not these EDUs are being sold to someone else, because the person building a house at 14 Windy Hill Road, for example, got the lot with the sewer from the person that originally had them. And I was just wondering whether or not they're being changed hands, which to me, our rules and regulations don't allow that. You can't, the homeowner can't sell an EDU. He has to go back to the town and say, I'd like to, turn this EDU in and get the money that they paid back, which is the only thing I've heard, like the hardware store did. Now, I don't know. I'm just wondering what else is behind this story.
Is this the Templar building, Wayne?
Yes.
Huh.
So
Yeah, I would have thought it's illegal to sell an EDU. I mean, it's not. It's the town. I don't know how somebody would think they could just.
Well, I'm under the impression that when this was done, and maybe Dan, who's got the knowledge and stuff, is that when we put the sewer in, 50% of the money was paid for by the town, 50% by the owner, right? So they now have something that the town owns half of it, right?
Yeah.
But now it's going and replacing a $37,000 fee that really isn't a betterment fee, but it's a fee that people that are paying today. That's a lot different than the $6,000 or $8,000 or $9,000 that was paid for half with town money those years ago. So it's like, it just doesn't seem fair to the town to have someone taking something that was intended here and putting it over there. Does that make some sense?
Yeah.
Just questioning it.
Well, he probably put it into the, if he's selling property or something, he probably put it in there. I mean,
He did. He
I
did.
can give you a little history. This is the jeweler who came before us, Diane. But basically, the Templar house had something like 7 EDUs, and he was only putting 3 townhouses there, basically converting it. And he came before the board asking to transfer some of those EDUs, which theoretically he owned in part, to 2 properties he had. One was on Howe and the other one was on Windy Hill. And I believe you did approve that. But again, that is probably in your minutes. I don't know if he transferred any others. And it may be that he still had one more or something like that was outstanding, but I'm not sure if I recall the board ever approving any reuse beyond those 2 properties.
The Windy Hill, apparently there is one other lot that it's going to be used on. Now, we went and we looked at the house plans with Lisa and stuff, and we determined that it was 5 bedrooms. And And they turned around and they're saying, well, that's not a bedroom, it's an office. And then there's an
Yeah.
area that is, they're calling it a different room. But
We're talking about Windy Hill.
I believe, and so we were saying that they should pay for one, for 1/4 of an EDU, and that would be at today's our regular prices. And I don't know, Lisa, what's the status on that? Because I know the House is papers are being passed in the next, either this week or next week or something like that.
So when this first came in front of me, I found this document dated May 13th, 2019, and it was to Matt Shannon from Marge Goodwin, saying that regarding your inquiries about your properties on Windy Hill Road, and it lists 4 different lots, and one of them was lot number 34, and it says that it has a sewer connection privilege for 1 EDU, 4 bedrooms, transferred from 589 Jerusalem Road. That lot 34 happens to be 14 Windy Hill. And so when Wayne and I met yesterday, we talked about whether or not it was going to be a 4 or 5 bedroom. Their original plans showed 4 bedrooms on the upper level, but it also showed a home office on the main level, which the home office had a closet, has windows, has a door, potentially a bedroom. So they had since changed the plans for the second level to be 3 bedrooms with a 4 bedrooms and they changed that 5th bedroom to be a walk-in closet. But with that, 4 bedrooms on the second floor and then the office on the main level, to me, that's 5 bedrooms. So I sent them an email this morning telling them that they owe still a 1/4 EDU before we sign off, because all indications show that they're marketing a 5-bedroom home. It's on MLS as 5 bedroom. I talked to the assessor's office. They also have it listed as a 5-bedroom home.
So then he should pay that 1/4 EDU, period. This guy has been for years. I don't know whether it's purposeful or not, but he's always trying to play the game.
So I didn't speak with Matt Shannon. I've been dealing with Sean Richard and
Maybe Spath,
no, he's the drain layer.
Right.
I just sent him an email. Jeff Hassett.
Who is he?
I think they're the owners.
He's the buyer then.
Well,
Now-
I don't think he's oh, maybe he is.
Is the house still on the market?
Sorry, Jeff Hassett is Morse Engineering.
Oh,
And then we have Andrew Groman. And I think Sean Richard is the owner.
Right, Andrew is his partner, Andrew Groman.
Yes.
With Richard's partner. The thing is, if this to me should be something that ends up on the what's it called? The when you go to pass papers, you have to get a record from the town treasurer or something like that. A municipal lien certificate.
Municipal lien, yeah.
But we would have to let the person doing the municipal lien certificate know that, in fact, there is an amount of money owed on this for that, because it's actually already built. In my opinion, just to ensure that we got the money.
yeah, I agree. I mean, he's certainly, moving the labeling around, even though the dimensions of the room and what have you haven't changed. I'm sure he's not. I'm not going to say what's on my mind, but I would certainly get another 1/4 EDU out of him.
Right, and that's the stop. That's why I'm not signing off on it until we get that 1/4 EDU. That's what I told them this morning.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question. Have all the betterments that were originally issued been paid for this individual's properties?
So I don't know that answer. That was one of the ones that email that I sent you yesterday with all the betterments that have been paid. 589 Jerusalem Road was the one that I couldn't find anything on. That showed that it had seven approved for 7 connections, and that's what
Yeah.
we're just
And
talking about.
you don't know whether the betterment's been paid?
I don't. I'm still working on that.
Okay, so how do we find out?
Oh, that list will have a list. I mean, I don't have the town's website up or the mail up, but it's done by street. I had looked at it very briefly and has, if anybody owed money up to, I think, like 5 or 6 years ago, it was there. And then when they paid it off. So if you go to that Excel file, John, you'll see everybody that came out of did that come out of the assessor's office, Lisa, where Don got it?
So Dawn got it from from somebody, I don't know who it is, but somebody that can run reports for CDS, but it wasn't not the assessors.
Okay.
But this only is a situation because we have to look up under the old, when the Templar house was there and they got the 7 EDUs and they had the 7 apartments. We have to go back in time for that period, because
Right.
when they tore it down and built the new ones, there's no record because it didn't exist then. So they showed up as no record for a betterment because it's a brand new structure that replaced something else. And I would assume that, but the key thing is, what was the, when they got the construction loan and sold those units, the 3 units they built, there would have been a title search if there was anything historically that was still on the land, I would imagine.
I'm just concerned that with this shuffling of EDUs around to different properties and so forth, that they're shuffling something that hadn't been paid for yet, and potentially getting off the hook of ever paying for it. And apparently our records don't show whether it was paid or not. So we don't know the status of the EDUs that have been reassigned to other locations. So we need to get all the facts. That's my concern.
No, I agree.
And make sure that, if it's a shell game, that there's a P somewhere.
Right.
Yep,
And
exactly.
the 4 EDUs don't end up being 6 EDUs or something else.
Exactly, yes.
What the property is, because if in fact you had a memo that said there are 4 vacant lots on Windy Hill, but there's also something going on up in the Howe estate, it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? Now I know, I guess there's another lot that's coming, I don't know, coming up off of Windy Hill or not, but anyway.
Yeah.
It just came up, and I think it's just important for us to investigate thoroughly.
Yeah.
So as part of this letter too, it also had lot number 33, which was the location of the existing home, and it was connected to sewer already. Lot 31 has a sewer connection privilege for 1 EDU paid in full by the previous owners in 2014. And the previous owners was Berube. And then lot 32 may be connected to sewer, but the connection fee has not been paid at this time. So I'm going to find out where all this information came from, and maybe that'll be a clue as to what is going on.
Yep. Good.
All right, guys, if we have anything, I have to leave at 11. I have a call. So I don't know if we have anything else that we need to.
Well, just real quick, I think you got to verify that all the betterments have been paid off before you basically release the pumps too. So you should be able to get that from somebody at town hall to make sure all the sewer betterments have been paid.
Well, that's what that list is. All the sewer betterments have been paid, except for there was questionable on, like 7 of them. And
Okay.
3 of those were 589 Jerusalem Road.
And I had mentioned, maybe going back and looking for Shannon and how the board dealt with that. I'm just looking at the assessors listing, and he basically purchased 3 lots, 3 vacant lots. It looks like on Diab, as well as Windy, and at least the Diab lots we're looking at like 2013 in October. So the town, sewer commission meeting minutes that might have that would be around that period, just to
Okay.
give you a starting point.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Hey, guys, anything else? Anyone else want to bring anything up? I'm going to blow in like two seconds here.
Are there any questions and answered? I see 4 on the bottom of my screen. Is there anybody in the audience that?
No, they've already answered these.
Okay. All right.
All right, can I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, see you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Bye.